I found when I actually stepped back and looked at the material, it's an amazing story about how you get brave enough to change your life, and all the characters in it do. And I guess I would say that's what I think it's really about for me. It's also one of the most brilliant pieces of American musical theater that we have. It's just that good. We're doing it with a rather large company. We have 22 people altogether, and we're in the Bomer Theater. And we have 2 pianos as our orchestration. There's a reduction that was done for 2 pianos that was made by Lowe's longtime assistant when the show was touring around the country, and they kept cutting it down for money because they couldn't afford to hire enough musicians. He turned to his assistant Trudy and said, you know what, I just want to make it for 2 pianos so it'll actually sound the way I'd like it to sound and everybody can really afford to do it. I think that's really cool. I find with the classic musicals, I work on a lot of revivals, and your memory of them can be very colored with what you might have seen when you were younger, what you might have seen of the film, what you remember of dancing around the living room, listening to the recording. Seriously. Yeah. We all have these memories of these things, and what you don't have the benefit of is actually getting to discover it again for the first time. I find when the piece itself is good, you can actually get down to its kernel right at the center of it and kind of get the magic of getting it again for the first time because it doesn't have all that. In this particular instance, the score itself, for those of you who are like music nerds like me, is really very pianistic, and it sounds on pianos like perfect, kind of gorgeous. And there are some places where I personally miss the sound of brass or strings, where I've added some singing for the ensemble to kind of flesh it out in places. That was fun for me to do. And yeah, it's just a good story. There are things about Eliza that I really, really relate to, probably more so because I'm a woman, ultimately. But there are things about Henry Higgins that I'm a super control freak. I'm a director, and I totally, totally get it. You know, it's also about, you know, a sweet person like Colonel Pickering who's just there to help. You know, and so I think it's kind of about, it sounds so cheesy and a little bit of a cop-out to say it's about all of us, but actually I think it has endured as long as it has because it is about all of us. You should be able to see yourself throughout it. So that's what I hope.